Psychological safety has become one of the most misused phrases in leadership today. Right? Every consultant selling it, every HR deck mentions it, every team building workshop is claiming it. And yet data still shows that only 43% of those employees say their team actually has it. So that gap between how much leaders talk about it, how little it actually exists, that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Right? Because I've seen it. I've seen what happens when psychological safety breaks down. Not just in a conference room, but in rooms where the consequences weren't only a bad quarter or a missed deadline. I've led people in the Army, retail, sales, casual dining, finance, a multitude. I've been responsible for people, not managing, but responsible for them. And there's a difference, right? So managing is just a function, but responsibility, that's the weight. When you're responsible for people in an environment where the decisions that you make or that you fail to make can have extreme consequences, you learn very quickly what trust means. And it has nothing to do with making people feel comfortable. Psychological safety, as it's currently being sold in the corporate world, has been stripped of its actual meaning. The original framework, developed by Harvard researcher Amy Edmondson, defines psychological safety as a shared belief that a team is safe to take interpersonal risks. They're safe to speak up, admit mistakes, challenge assumptions, all without the fear of punishment or humiliation. That is a precise, useful definition for psychological safety. Now, what it's become in practice is something entirely different. It's become shorthand for be nice. Don't have those hard conversations. Make sure nobody feels bad. That version, that sanitized version, feelings first version, doesn't build trust. What it's doing is destroying performance while pretending to support people. So here's what I've learned, leading soldiers and civilians, is that psychological safety is not the absence of pressure. It is the presence of clarity. Again, it is not the absence of pressure. It is the presence of clarity. So when people know exactly what's expected of them, when they understand the mission, when they trust that their leader will tell them the truth, even when the truth is hard, they perform. They'll take risks. They'll surface problems early because they know that surfacing problems is what gets rewarded, not what gets punished. Right? When people don't know on the opposite side what's expected of them, when the rules shift based on who's in the room or how the leader's feeling that day, when honesty is getting punished and compliance is getting rewarded, they go quiet. They'll stop raising their hands. They'll start managing up instead of solving problems. That's when the whole system starts running on false information. That's not a culture problem. That's a leadership problem. The leader created those conditions, right? The research backs this up. PwC found that 61% of employees say that a perceived lack of trust from leadership directly impacts their ability to do their jobs. Not their desire to do the job, but their ability. Trust is not a soft outcome. It's an operational input. Yet, most leaders still address trust the wrong way. They're doing team building retreats. They're mandating those vulnerability workshops. They ask people share their feelings in a circle. They call it culture building. I'm not saying that those things are always wrong. What I am saying, though, is that none of them build trust on their own. Trust is built through consistency, through demonstrated accountability, through leaders who say what they mean and mean what they say, and hold the standard even when it's uncomfortable. You can't ask your team to take those interpersonal risks if you, as a leader, are not willing to take them first. You can't ask the people to admit their mistakes when, again, you've never admitted a mistake. You can't build psychological safety by announcing psychological safety is important. You build it by modeling it every day, in every decision, in every conversation. This is one of the core arguments of my book, Seized. Leaders break system under pressure not because they're bad people, but because their internal state, their regulatory capacity, their clarity, their honesty with themselves. It's degrading under a load. And when the leader degrades, the system degrades. The team reads the leader's state before they've read any memo, any mission brief. If the leader's reactive, the team is going to become defensive. If the leader's unclear, that team's going to be paralyzed and not know what to do. That leader's dishonest with themselves, the team is going to stop being honest with that leader. Psychological safety starts inside the leader, not in the team, not in the HR policy, but inside the person who holds the responsibility. So here's what I ask. One thing, think about the last time someone on your team told you something you didn't want to hear. How'd you respond to that? Not what you said to them, but how did you actually respond? Did your body language close? Did you get defensive? Did you punish them by subtly pulling back the support or freezing them out of any decisions? If any of those things happened, you just answered your own question. Right? That's answering your question about why people on your team are not speaking up. Again, psychological safety isn't a program. It's a daily practice. It starts with you being the kind of leader whose team knows, not just believes, but knows that the truth is always welcome. Always remember, you do not eliminate chaos. You learn to lead through it. That's the brief.